channel.
Biggs here, back with another brief origins, where we give you the rundown of characters' beginnings. It's important to remember that some characters' origins change based on who's in the creative chair at the time. With that in mind, enjoy The Furious Five. Tigress. Abandoned as a child in an orphanage, she had started her life pretty rough and only got harder from there growing up. As the other children were mostly furry little bunnies and such, they feared Tigress because she was a tiger, obviously, so they isolated her in a separate room where she couldn't play with anyone. One night, she heard the other kids playing and broke out of her room to play with them, but they were too scared of her. She felt she would only be seen on the outside and never within. She grew anger towards this, which led the orphanage to seek out outside help from a kung fu master named Master Shifu. Master Shifu took Tigress under his wing and taught her how to control her temper, finally being able to show the other children she was a pussycat than the wild animal they perceived. Still, no parents wanted to adopt her, except one. Master Shifu had grown fond of Tigress during their time in training, so much so that he adopted her as his own, training her in the art of Kung Fu. She continued to try to prove herself through Master Shifu's eyes. Now let's move on to Viper. Born from a Viper clan, the legend spoke how this clan came from dragons. The venom in their fangs are rumored to be made out of dragon flame. This makes the venom deadly enough to take down 15 grown gorillas and one crocodile. Her father was the legendary Great Master Viper, the baddest in their clan. So when Viper was born, there was no doubt she would have the same gifts as her father, but it turns out she didn't. Her fangs were nowhere in sight, and when the villagers found out, rumors spread and all the baddies wanted a shot at the old man. Since her father worried she wouldn't be able to defend herself, let alone the village of their clan, he decided to continue to fight off the threats. This constant fighting put a toll on her father, so she decided to cheer him up with her dancing using ribbons. And when she realized how good it made him feel, she decided to master the craft. One night, her father got into a battle with a gorilla who possessed an armor capable of stopping fangs from penetrating the body. And it did just that. Her father lost his greatest weapon that day, his fangs, and was left defenseless against the gorilla. Viper was witnessing the whole thing and knew she had to do something. She comes to her father's aid and uses her ribbon skills to defeat the gorilla. Her speed and reflexes shined so bright that moment that her father saw he made a mistake in underestimating her ability, and the two embraced each other with love. She continued to own her skills with ribbons. Now let's go on to Monkey. As a child, he slipped on a banana peel and was laughed at by the entire village. This feeling would lead Monkey into avoiding the same spotlight into his life by pranking others to create a spotlight on them instead. He would do this with his brother from some time until his brother wanted to get into more evil deeds. His brother started dipping his toe in criminal activities, while Monkey just wanted to find love at some point. His brother knew that would lead Monkey away from him, so he kept all the girls from ever seeing Monkey's potential, until one day, a girl named Yaya walked into Monkey's life and gave him hope. He did everything with this girl in the romance department and thought things were great until one day, coming home, he finds Yaya making out with his brother and crushes Monkey's spirit into pieces. Eventually, his brother gets locked up and Monkey moves on, making himself busy in becoming the ultimate prank master. This annoyed the other villagers as he used everyone as a target for his pranks, so they hired all forms of help to get rid of Monkey, but all of them failed and was left with their pants hanging on their ankles, except one. Master Oogway came to teach Monkey a lesson, as Monkey tried to prank him, but was outsmarted at every turn. At one point in the prank, something goes wrong and it goes too far, and a boulder almost crushes Monkey, but Oogway got Monkey out of the way just in time. Master Oogway explained to him that he just wanted him to learn a lesson, and to know that his gifts could be used for good. Monkey was humbled by this experience and decided to switch his role as the protector of the village from troublemakers, and would dabble sometimes in stand-up comedy, which he was really bad at. Now moving on to Crane. His mother was very overprotective because she thought Crane was fragile and couldn't take on the real world, which is why as a child he was covered in battle armor as a safety precaution. One day, little Crane takes a stroll away from his mother and stumbles across a dojo. There, he gets his first taste of Kung Fu and knew he had to be a part of it. The first trial run appeared very rough for his mother, so she told him to promise her he would never pursue Kung Fu, and rather than having her heart broken, he agreed but kept doing it behind her back. He gets older and becomes a janitor at the very dojo and is encouraged by one of the students to go for the trial. So he trained for the big day, and when the day came, he was mocked by the other students for being too small. He then accidentally steps into the line for the trial and is met immediately with deadly traps, only to discover he was ready for this, as he managed to counter every one of them to retrieve the flag to the end of the trial, and from there earn the respect of the other students, but continues his work as a janitor. Mantis. Never given a chance to meet his father and finding out his father was eaten by his mother during their lovemaking, Mantis always felt his fate was sealed, that he too would meet a girl who would do the exact same thing. We'll go back to that. During his youth time protecting his own valley as an individual, he would have trouble maintaining patience and having always a constant need of rush, never appreciating everything around him, and that's when he met a girl who actually was into him because he was a warrior and wanted to settle down with him. And he was too blinded to see the flaws in her to say no, until she leaves him at the altar, leaving Mantis heartbroken for a moment, and then continues his task as the valley's hero. He goes on an assignment and gets caught in a trap by the Gators, leaving him to reflect on things at a slower pace. With the time he was given, he formulated a plan. Pretending to play dead, the Gators thought he was gone for good and opened his cage, only to discover it was a ruse, and he used this opening to put them all down. He then used his newfound perspective to become a doctor. The team formed. Now, the five didn't start off knowing each other. It wasn't until Tigress brought them all together. You see, Master Shifu was feeling ill and heard a villainous warrior named Boar was coming to harm the village and its people. And since he would have no choice, he gave Tigress the task to retrieve the team on a list he made inside a scroll. She wants to make him proud, so she takes on the assignment of gathering the team from the list. But before she made her way towards her journey, she accidentally drops the scroll and got it accidentally switched with another AKA. Now, this was before they engaged and actually met any of them, or they even knew he existed. Any noodles. See what I did there? The list got switched. So when she thought she was gathering the potential four, she was actually gathering someone else's list, which happened to be Pose. She gathered a comedian, a dancer, a janitor, and a doctor by mistake, and when she brought them back to Master Shifu, he was livid, or whatever they call it. He was angry at her mistake, but Tigress got to spend some time with them on the way over to see the potential in them. So she argued they are still worthy, but Master Shifu refused to listen. Tigress decides to tell them to leave while she fought Boar alone. She gave it her best with Boar, but it wasn't until the others decided to come to save her, or to come to her aid, that she truly saw that the five could work together to defeat Boar and become the new Furious Five, a feat that hasn't been accomplished in some time. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy our content, you know what you guys can do. You can share, you can like, or you can subscribe to our channel. When you guys subscribe to our channel, you know what you do? You guys are building our empire and allowing us to provide you guys with even much more greater content for you guys to enjoy.